Gene Sarazen invented the sand wedge in 1935. He had a big burly caddy and they kept it upside down in the bag so no one could see it. And then finally, a bunch of the other touring pros jumped the caddy, beat the out of them, and took a look, and then everyone had a sand wedge.
Oh!
Very nice.
Are you a person just like me that's always stuck in a bunker and can never get out? Well, today is the last day for that to happen because today we are with our coach, D1 coach of many, Hall of Fame coach, all of that. And he's gonna teach me all the different shots you need to shoot in a bunker and to just start getting your scores so low. So without further ado, without wasting time, let's get into it.
Okay, so what has your experience been in the bunker thus far?
I've maybe been into a bunker 3 times.
3 times, okay. Were you able to get out on your first attempt?
One was actually kind of like a miracle. Like I hit it and then it almost like went into the hole. Oh! No way. Oh my God!
So what was your plan? What did you think was the technique necessary to get out of the bunker? Do you hit the ball first and the sand second like you do on every other club? Do you hit the sand behind it first? Do you have to gauge how much sand to hit or where it should hit? What's the skill?
What I've heard is you're like kind of hitting the sand before.
Okay, how far? How far behind it?
I have no gauge on that.
So the precision of the spot behind it, 3 inches behind it you have to hit is the big deal.
Okay.
That is the skill when we do it. But before we get into the bunker, we have to be able to have the skill to make it go higher than normal. I'm gonna aim at the tree. So the tree is well left of the yellow flag that we're aiming at. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a swing that gets up fairly high and finishes through fairly high, and I'm gonna try to start hitting balls towards the tree with a square face. So when I do that, the ball goes up in the air, we're hitting down and hitting the ground just like we always would. You want to get a feel that when you do that, that the ball is going to go up a certain height and a certain distance. Now, after you've done that successfully, what you do next is very important. You take a practice swing towards the tree, just like you had just done, hitting the ground the same way. And then when you walk up to the ball, you change the club face and make it go open. Okay, now the ball should go higher, shorter, and righter when you do that, okay? But you need to gauge how much shorter, higher, and righter it's gonna go when you do it. And when it goes shorter, higher, and righter towards the hole, then you're doing a good job. What makes this extra difficult is that when you do all of these shots, you're hitting the ball first. So when you hit a short shot, it's gonna go very high, not very far. When you do this, it's gonna go higher, shorter, and righter, isn't it? But you're still hitting the ball first. When you get into the sand, you're gonna be hitting the sand first. So if you're shocked at how short it goes when you hit this one and you're hitting the ball first, you're really gonna be shocked when you hit that far behind it. Because you have to swing hard all the time. The takeaway when you watch golf on TV is every time you see a pro in a bunker, particularly if he has to stop the shot, he doesn't seem like he's swinging easy at it, does he? He's swinging hard. And that's not just to get it out of the sand, that's to alleviate the fact that he is hitting behind it. He's got a very open face and he wants to put spin on it so he can have height and spin to make it stop. I want you to choke down very little on this one because we're gonna need a little extra speed. And I want you to put your toes on these 2 places to start with to tell me if these look okay to you. One there and one there, please. Okay, and I'll put this one out here. Good. Now look at that tree. Don't choke down very much. And set yourself up pretty standard that way. So at the belt buckle, that square, you like to look at a closed one, unfortunately. That's normal right there. Okay, now step away for a practice swing. Now remember, you're not gonna shift weight, you're gonna keep the right foot down. So take a practice swing to shoulder high, hit the ground and go through. Now when you go through, remember, unlike the full shots where you might let it close too much, you want to go through here and you want to keep the club from closing, and then you can bend your arms later on if you want. But turning it over like that's a bad idea. Okay, one more practice. Good. Don't be afraid to cock your wrists a little bit. That little extra speed is going to be necessary here in a bit. Not bad, very good. Not bad, a little behind that. Turn a little faster, don't be afraid. Oh, excellent. Okay, now right to this one. Get ready to go. Okay, now I'm gonna do that. Now, it'd be better if you couldn't see that, okay? You're gonna do everything else the same, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh God, oh God. Okay, now go through hard, same way, boom. Okay, now see, that would have gone up in the air, but what happened is you saw the very open club face, and you said, I need to keep it open to make it go over there. No, you don't. You got to open it and close it just like you did on all the other ones. So when you see a square club, opening it or returning it to square doesn't seem hard.
Yeah.
But see, you're closing it back to square, aren't you?
And I think you keep it open.
Yeah. No, that was good. Okay. But see, now that you have an open one, you have to open it and you have to close it back to open.
I see.
So you can't keep it open or you'll hit that one.
Gotcha.
So it's still that down and around. So with that open face, let me hear that nice thumpy sound because you're in the process of closing it. Here we go. That's the feel. Okay. Now try that. Right to it. But yeah, keep the club face there. Good. Hit down on it. See if you can. That's the ticket right there. Now,
Gotcha.
You were surprised, weren't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
It didn't go very far.
Yeah.
But it should go higher, shorter, and righter. That's the sensation you need to have.
Okay.
So don't go into the bunker until you've done that first. That's the one of the ultimate skills. What starts happening pretty quickly is you become less afraid to swing hard because you know that more of the force is going into height and spin production and less is going into forwardness.
Got it.
So we always want to have that feel that we're not going to be afraid to hit it pretty hard.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to draw a picture here that should make this a little easier to understand. Okay, I'm going to put the ball here, and I'm going to draw a line towards the target here, and then a perpendicular to it here. And if I was hitting a normal shot off the grass, I would play the ball, balls with inside the left heel. I'd have a stance that was narrow and slightly open, about a club head length away from the line. I would come straight back and come down steeper to flatter. I'd get the club face back to square at impact. I'd hit the ball first, the ground second, and it would be a normal shot off the grass. Okay, now, in this case, what we're trying to do is we're trying to hit 3 full inches behind it right there, that far back.
Okay.
And we can't have this square a club face. So if I did that, the ball would go over there, wouldn't it? So the amount that you have to turn around to keep the ball going towards a target is enough so that this line right here, which was originally a ball's width inside the left heel, is now over here and is on the tip of your toe. But the way I want you to look at it is now you're swinging towards a place that's over here. So watch, here's the new line. That's a ball's width inside your left heel this way. And this is where we're swinging it back towards. And this is where we're swinging through towards here. So you got to feel like, okay, I'm making a normal swing at a place that's over here to the left. But now when I do that, the club face is actually pointing towards the target.
I see.
Okay, so the club looks open to you, but the club is not open, you're open. That's kind of the way to look at it. Now, the real skill in this has to do with how you hit down in that spot. You need some speed, so you need to work it up fast, much more wrist cock on a bunker shot. You're going to hit down hard, and then you're going to finish up over your head. If you have the club open and it gets up over your head properly, if there was a mirror on the club face, you'd see reflection in the club face. It can't be over there when you do that. You probably have heard that there's a penalty for touching the sand before you start. It's actually a 2-stroke penalty. It's like hitting a ball out of bounds.
Oh.
So if you come down and you come close to it, that's a 2-stroke penalty, that's 2 more, and now we're making 8 and 10 on the hole already.
Oh, I did not know that.
So you have to hover it up above the sand. You cannot touch the sand at any time. See, they have to draw the line somewhere. If you touch the sand and it changed the lie, that would be unfair, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So rather than saying how much you're going to touch the sand, they just say you can't touch it at all. Okay. So you want to hit 3 inches behind it. However, if you address the ball 3 inches behind it, you'll tend to hit 6 inches behind it. So what you want to do is you want to hover it 1 inch from the sand, really pretty far up, and 1 inch from the ball. And if you do that, then when you go through, you should hit about on that spot.
Okay.
One of the neat things to notice is that the mark on the sand will look like an American football. So watch how this is going to look. So it's going to come out, it starts right on the line, and then it makes a shape that's kind of the size and shape of a football when you do it.
Oh, nice.
That means it's bouncing. See, what technically is happening from here, see, the leading edge would be closer to the ground. When you open it up, this is the part that hits first.
Okay.
So that's why you get the bounce. Gene Sarazen invented the sand wedge in 1935. Everybody else used to try to hit the ball first before that, and they never did it before. But he was on an airplane and he saw the curve in the wing and he put a bunch of solder on the bottom, and for a couple of years, he was the only person in the world that had a sand wedge. He had a big burly caddy and they kept it upside down in the bag so no one could see it. When they took it out, they kept their hand on it so no one could see, and then he put it down like this and hit. And then finally, a bunch of the other touring pros jumped the caddy, beat the shit out of him, and took a look, and then everyone had a sandwich. but see, that's what we want to make sure we do. Okay, there are plenty of people, you will encounter them all the time, who are completely, totally unable to play a bunker shot. Okay, and when they get into the bunker, they've had so little success that they freeze up and they're afraid or unable to do anything. And so you don't want to be that guy. You have so little real experience so far that you're pretty much a babe in the woods, and so you're not afraid of anything yet, but you'll become afraid of bunker shots if you're unsuccessful with them all the time.
Yeah.
So we need to be able to practice. This is funny, but we need to be able to practice without any negativity even being possible. Okay, so what's the worst thing that could happen is if you hit a shot and it didn't come out of the bunker or you sculled it over out of bounds. So here's what we're going to do to begin with. We're going to use dents. So I'm going to put a dent there, a dent here, one there, one here, and finally the ball there. And I'm going to draw the line that's 3 inches behind all of them. Okay, now I'm going to set up far enough left so that the ball would still be a ball's width inside the left heel if I was aiming that way, but then I'm going to change the club face back. And now I'm going to begin taking practice swings to see where the club hits the ground. Now, if you don't hit the ground, you're not letting your arms fall. If you hit the ground behind it, you're not turning enough. But you got to get to the point where you can hover it up here and then there. See, that one started right on the line, didn't it? And here's another one. On the line. Another one. On the line. One more. On the line. And then if you do that, then you try a ball and your chances of being successful are pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, what if you go through this process and you're back and forth and it's not time to hit a ball yet? See, I know you're going to be eager to want to try it, but see what happens is if you're not, the skill is hitting that 3 inch behind line.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing that, if you're either hitting too far behind it or not hitting it at all, then it's not time to hit a ball, because then you'll get the bugaboo and you'll start losing your mind. You got to get to the point where you really feel like this is in your wheelhouse, and you start getting that combination of arms falling, body turning, hitting the sand. Oh, I'm hitting the sand in the right place.
Okay.
All you have to do is hit the sand in the wrong place one time and have something go really wrong, and then you will be afraid of the sand. And if you're not hitting the sand, then you have no chance to make this be successful. Okay, always think of aiming left and always seeing the balls with inside the left heel. See, the big problem here is when you play a normal shot, see, when your eyes are right over it on your shortest club, your eyes are right on the leading edge of the club. So when you open the club, see, your instinct's going to be to keep your eyes on the leading edge, and you're going to be way up here too far this way, and you're going to catch it too much on the down part. So what you got to do is always set up like you're going to hit a normal one here, but see, the normal one now is to the left, isn't it? So if you do that and you see it's a ball's width inside the left heel, that's fine. But when you change it here, the leading edge is going to point at the tip of your toe. It's going to seem really far forward, but you're not swinging along the club face, you're swinging along your body, and that's very different. Good. Now with a square club face, don't choke down on it, and look at that. So you can see the ball's a ball's width inside your left heel, isn't it? And you're going to swing back in this direction, and you're going to swing through in this direction over here. Okay, cool. So here's the square one. So you're going to come up to here, you're going to go down through to here, but here you'd hit the ball first. But now we're going to have that one, and you're going to try to hit on the line. Okay. I'm going to do a super slow one with you. So we're going to take it back, we're going to let it open up, we're going to come down, we're going to hit the ground there, and we're going to follow through over your head. Take a look at the club face. See your reflection in the mirror?
Yep. Okay,
good. Now, try to do that one more time. Hover here and see if and where you hit the ground. Cock it up fast. Okay, that was way behind. It wasn't.
Behind,
okay,
yeah.
now slow down. Was it wrong to hit the ground?
No.
Okay, but why did you hit the ground too far back?
I didn't rotate?
That's right, so you weren't around enough. So the easy answer is always continue going up and down. There's an opening and a closing. If you don't turn enough here because you want to get under it, that'll happen. You got to turn faster to make it go through there. Okay, now walk up to the next dent. Okay, hover an inch from the ground, inch from the sand, and go.
No,
okay.
Too much.
Are you ready to hit a golf ball yet?
No,
you're not.
close.
Okay, try that one again. Okay, really let it come down, slap the sand. Here we go. Better, closer. Next dent, please. Here we go. Almost, still too much there. Remember, keep it an inch from the ball, not all the way back to there. Right there is fine. Now, make sure you hit down for sure. Good, better. Next one. Hit down for sure. Turn and stand up. Look at your club face when you're done with this one. Look at the club face. Look at it. Still not bad. Still a little too far behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another dent right there. Okay, one more. Here we go. Close. Okay, now try that one. Okay, come up to this one. Here we go. There's your line.
The ball?
Yep, best of luck, best of luck. Here we go. Work it up fast. Pretty good.
Oh!
Very nice. Now,
one in.
that one hit right on the line, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's the big deal. That's what has to happen. Okay, now, your experience on those previous ones helped you do that. But see, here's why the line is important. If you're in a bunker practicing and you don't draw the line, and you hit the ball too short, there are two possibilities. You either didn't swing hard enough or you hit too far behind it. Okay. If you hit the ball too far, there's two possibilities. Either you hit too close to the ball or you swung too hard. Okay, now, if you don't know, you're going to assume that you hit the sand in the right place, won't you? Okay, and so if you hit one short, you think, well, I'd better swing harder. No, instead of hitting 3 inches behind it, maybe hit 7 inches behind it. Okay, so when that happens, and then you swing harder and you hit the right distance behind it, you hit the home run, and now you don't like the sand anymore. Okay, so that's a real important kind of thing to get over. So drawing the line in the sand and watching for that little football size and shape divot is important. If you skim the sand too much, it won't make much of a mark. If it sticks in, it'll be a long divot or it'll go too deep. But when it kind of bounces off, you'll get that same look when you do it all the time. Okay. Another thing that's important over here is you want what's called a U-shaped arc. You want to come up fast and come back up fast again. There was a very famous golfer named Phil Rogers who used to practice at our range on campus. And his dad, who wasn't much of a golfer, but was his sole instructor, used to come and sit on a chair and watch him practice. And when Phil was hitting bunker shots one day, I was privy to the conversation. So his dad's sitting right there, and Phil was setting up to it. And he took the club back and got to here and said, "Your dad." "Your dad." "Dad, what's the matter?" He said, "You got to work that club up right away. If you take it back that low right away, you're not going to have the right angle of descent." Okay, now you don't want to have a super steep one that you're going to stick in, but when I say U-shape, even though you're going to work it up fast here, you're going to hit down and then it's going to get back up over your head again later. The idea is to slap the sand pretty well, but not to get so much resistance that it stays in there. So the whole process we've been talking about and turning up and through is an important one. If it helps you, when I first became able to hit bunker shots properly, I had a sand wedge that had an S on the bottom of it. And my mental image was that instead of being in sand, I was on a piece of clay. I was going to take the club and go up and down. I was going to imprint the S on the piece of clay. So I brought it up, I would see it on the piece of clay. Now, in reality, you're going to cock the wrists up as well, but you're going to be turning when you do it. So instead of stopping and hitting there, you're going to hit in the right spot. But when you start getting that divot that's happening in the right spot and it looks like a football, you're going to have a good feel for how the bounce of the flange will make it be the right size and shape, but that you are going up and down enough to go along with the back and forth so you feel like you're going to hit the ground every time. So don't think of it as a complication. You got to work it up to really have the speed you want to have. Now, final thing is that for the 60-degree wedge, you could hit the ball very easily to this little flag right here, which is 12 yards away, and maybe even as far as the rocks over there, which is more like 20 yards away. But when you get farther than that, where the squirrel is over there, maybe 30, 35 yards away, if you continue to hit 3 inches behind it, you wouldn't be able to swing hard enough to make it go that far. So you have two alternatives. You can begin to hit a little closer to the ball. Now, there are certain situations, like if the pin is cut just right over, if you're in the second bunker from the green and you got to go over another bunker and stop it fast, you have no choice. You'd have to try to hit closer to the ball. But for most people, that's a nightmarishly hard shot to hit. The other possibility is hit ball first. That's how we're going to hit bunker shots that are fairway bunker shots. We'll talk about that in a second. But on these other ones, what we're really trying to do is get to the point where we wouldn't have to try to hit closer to it. So in that regard, it's important to try to use the next most lofted club. But if I was playing a short bunker shot, I would set it up, open it this way and hit the 60. As soon as I go to the long one, I'd hit the 54 instead. That way I could continue to hit 3 inches behind it. It wouldn't seem like that much of a problem. And that whole feeling is going to simplify things great. Not quite far enough back. Okay, try that one again. Let it fall. Not bad. Now walk up to the next dent. Good. Good luck. Close. Okay. Try to hit that. Try to hit that line. See if you can do it. Beautiful. Okay. Now up to that one. The crowd is hushed. Okay, now, because the line is still intact, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So you hit up into that one to try to make it go up, and now see, it's okay to do that once, but see, if you had 5 or 6 in a row, you get a little gun shy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why the dents are an important concept.
Got it. Okay.
Any questions about that?
No.
Okay,
It's a great drill.